You think golf is just a polite game of gentlemen in polo shirts? Think again. What you're about to witness includes a caddy drowning a $7,000 camera in a pond, a legendary golfer throwing his club at his own brother, and a confrontation so heated that security had to drag players apart in a parking lot. These aren't just golf swings. These are moments where champions lost their cool, friendships exploded, and the entire golf world stopped to watch the chaos unfold. Buckle up, because you're about to see the side of professional golf they don't show in the highlight reels. Let's kick things off at one of golf's most pressure-packed events. Picture this. You're at the Ryder Cup, representing your entire continent, and the United States is crushing Europe with a commanding 9-3 lead. Then, Jon Rahm steps up to the tee on a critical par 5. His front foot slips, his drive rockets straight into Lake Michigan. Gone. In match play, that's not just a bad shot. That's handing your opponent a golden opportunity on a silver platter. Now here's where it gets spicy. All four players, Rahm, Sergio Garcia, Jordan Spieth, and Brooks Koepka, agreed on exactly where the ball crossed the water hazard. Case closed, right? Wrong. A course spotter insisted it had crossed 20 yards farther up, and 20 yards on a par 5? That's the difference between going for the green and being completely out of the hole. Jordan Spieth wasn't having it. He argued passionately, pointing to the original spot. Adam Hayes, Rahm's caddy, immediately jumped in to defend his player. What started as a simple rules clarification exploded into a heated back and forth. Voices rose, fingers pointed. At one point, Spieth could be heard saying, "I never raised my voice at all, buddy." Which, let's be honest, is exactly what someone says when they've been raising their voice. The ruling went with the original spot. The Americans won the hole and eventually the match. But this moment proved that the Ryder Cup's biggest fireworks don't always come from the golf itself. Now you need to understand something about Tiger Woods in his prime. When he was in the zone, nothing, and I mean nothing, was supposed to break his concentration. It's the 2002 Skins game. Tiger standing over his ball in a greenside bunker on the 18th hole. The pressure's on. Every shot matters. And then you hear it. Click! A camera shutter. Loud. Right during his backswing. Woods backed off, visibly irritated. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Steve Williams, his fiercely loyal caddy, had already asked the span once to stop. Then twice. Now the guy clicked again at the worst possible moment. Williams didn't hesitate. He walked directly toward the spectator and said, "Give me the camera." The fan looked confused, clutching his $7,000 camera like it might protect him. Williams wasn't asking anymore. He grabbed it, wrestled it from his grip, and without breaking stride, walked straight to the edge of the pond surrounding the 18th green. He dropped it. The camera hit the water with a splash. Gone. The gallery stood in stunned silence. Security didn't know whether to intervene or let it play out. Woods didn't even turn around. He'd already gone back to preparing his shot, trusting Williams had handled it. Later, Williams defended his actions without apology. The fan had been warned, and in Steve Williams' world, you don't disrespect Tiger Woods on his watch. Royal Portrush, final round, and for Sergio Garcia, the tournament was already slipping away like sand through his fingers. You've had those rounds, right, where every shot feels heavy, every miss compounds the last? Garcia had endured 3 frustrating days, and Sunday was turning into another grind. On the 5th hole, he stepped up to the tee. He needed something good, anything. The drive was terrible. A pull, slicing away from the fairway into trouble. Again. Garcia's jaw clenched. His shoulders dropped. The anger that had been simmering all week finally boiled over. Without looking back, he flicked his driver over his shoulder directly toward his caddy. The club tumbled through the air. But here's the twist that makes this even more uncomfortable. His caddy? Victor Garcia, Sergio's own brother. Victor stood frozen as the driver landed near his feet. The gallery gasped audibly. Phones came out. Eyes widened. Sergio walked off the tee without a word. No apology, no acknowledgement, just silence. This wasn't a caddy Garcia could fire. This was family, and somehow that made it infinitely worse. They walked the rest of the hole in awkward quiet. the tension hanging between them like fog over the Irish coast. Here's a question for you. What does it take to make one of golf's most composed champions completely lose it in a parking lot? Let me paint the picture for you. It's late at night in Rome at the 2023 Ryder Cup. Cameras catch Rory McIlroy in the parking lot, red-faced and raging, pointing and shouting at Jim Bones, Justin Thomas's caddy. Shane Lowry has to physically drag him toward a courtesy car as McIlroy keeps yelling, completely losing his composure on one of golf's biggest stages. So what lit the fuse? Earlier that day, a bizarre subplot had taken over. Patrick Cantlay hadn't worn his Team USA cap all week, sparking rumors he was protesting not getting paid to compete. European fans pounced, waving hats at him and chanting, "Where's your hat, Patty?" at every hole. The teasing turned to tension. Cantlay and Wyndham Clark were down 1 to McIlroy and Fitzpatrick with 2 holes to play, until Cantlay birdied both to snatch the win. His caddy, Joe LaCava, then waved his hat toward the crowd while standing right in McIlroy's line as he prepared a putt to tie. McIlroy asked him to move. LaCava stepped back, then came right back and kept waving. The handshake line was icy, the air was toxic, and 30 minutes later, in that parking lot, it all boiled over. This moment showed you something crucial. Championship pressure doesn't just test your golf game, it tests everything. Imagine you're a professional caddy. You've been with your player for years. You've weathered the ups and downs. And then, in the middle of a tournament round, boom, you're fired. That's exactly what happened to Mick Middlemoe at the 2015 RBC Canadian Open. Robert Allenby was grinding through another frustrating round. Nothing was working. Every miss felt personal. The relationship had been fraying for holes, small comments, passive-aggressive jabs, building like a pressure cooker. Then, after yet another poor shot, Allenby snapped. The verbal abuse came fast and ugly. Middlemoe had dealt with plenty over the years, but this crossed a line. Words were exchanged, voices raised, the gallery fell silent, watching the implosion unfold in real time. Middlemoe made his decision. He dropped the bag on the fairway and walked off. Mid-round. Done. Allenby stood there bagless with holes still to play. He looked around desperately and spotted someone in the crowd, a school principal named Tom Foley. "Can you carry my bag?" Foley said yes. The amateur stepped inside the ropes and became Allenby's caddy for the rest of the round, navigating yardages and club selections he had no business knowing. This wasn't a practice round swap. This was a complete meltdown broadcast to everyone watching. You want to talk about the most unexpected plot twist in modern golf? Let me tell you about Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. For years, these two couldn't stand each other. It started with slow play comments in 2019, escalated through social. The feud had everything. Fans started calling DeChambeau Brooksy at tournaments, getting kicked out for heckling, while Brooks offered free beers to anyone who supported the trolling. This was personal. This was ugly. This was must-watch television. And then something absolutely wild happened. Fast forward to today, and you'll find videos of these two laughing together, joking about their past battles, actually excited to be partners. They're teaming up, cracking jokes, acting like the whole feud never happened. What changed? Maybe they realized they had more in common than they thought. Maybe the live golf move brought them together. Or maybe they just got tired of the hate. Either way, golf got robbed of its best villain story. But hey, there's a fine line between love and hate, right? Let me set the scene for you. It's the 2019 President's Cup in Melbourne, Australia, and Patrick Reed, golf's self-proclaimed Captain America, shows up already in hot water. Just a week before, from the moment Reed stepped on to Royal Melbourne, the crowd was relentless. Constant heckling, creative chants, the works, every hole, every shot, cheater this and Sandman that. Reed and Webb Simpson had just lost their morning match, Reed's third loss of the week. His caddy, Kessler Karen, who also happens to be his brother-in-law, had been watching his guy take heat for 3 straight days. And that's when the pressure cooker finally exploded. A fan says something. We still don't know exactly what. And Karen just snaps. He jumps off his cart, charges at the fan, and shoves him. Yes, you heard that right. A caddy shoving a fan. Chaos erupts. Security has to jump in. The worst part? They banned Karen from carrying the bag for Sunday singles matches, literally unprecedented in President's Cup history. Poor Reed had to have his swing coach step in as an emergency caddy. This moment proved that sometimes the people protecting the players can lose their cool just as fast as the players themselves. So, there you have it. 7 moments that prove golf isn't always played with quiet dignity. Which moment shocked you the most? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this deep dive,